We'll do 3A and 3C, and then we'll let you guys do the other two. All right. So find the slope of the line, and you're given a graph. And the graph doesn't have any numbers on it. It's not real world. So each block counts as 1 unit. Okay. So we can just count the blocks to find the slope. We draw in what's called a slope triangle. A slope triangle gives the horizontal distance between the 2 points and the vertical distance between the 2 points. Okay, I just crossed out the numbers, but I don't need them for block counting because I'm just going to count the blocks. Okay, the run between these 2 points, the horizontal distance is -3. It's not negative. Okay, because we always go left to right. We always go left to right. So the run is 3. That's the run. And the rise is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks.
Both are actually negative.
That's the rise.
If you don't do block counting, both are negative.
And so the slope is 5/3. That's the answer. 5/3.
Wait, actually, if you don't do block counting, it ends up as -5/3.
It depends on which.
Same thing,
It depends on which way you go.
but it's also the same thing either way.
Okay. Now, if you didn't want to use block counting, you could use the slope formula. If they don't give you a graph, you have to use the slope formula. The slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. This is also known as the change in y divided by the change in x. You can. Well, these numbers, okay, yeah, you can, because the change in something is always the difference between the two things. So yeah, you could. You don't have to write the formula out. All right, so this problem 3C, what's the slope between these 2 points with no graph? We'll use the slope formula. X1, X2, Y1. Okay, we'll label the points. X2, Y2. This is optional, but it helps you keep things straight. So the formula then is 2 minus 3, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Be careful with subtractions of positive and negative numbers, right? So this comes out to -1 over 5.
I know the next one.
Okay? If I did this the other way around, and I labeled this point as point 2, and this point as point 1, and I did 3 minus 2 and 1, -4 minus 1, it would be 1 over -5. Either way, the slope is negative. Do the next one on your own. Go. First question. First question. Does this line have a positive slope or a negative slope? Negative. It's going down from left to right.
Oh, okay.
That means it has a negative slope.
Yes.
Okay? So your answer needs to be negative.
Yes.
You could count blocks 4 and 2.
I can't see that far.
So you get -4 over 2, which many people left their answer like that.
I got that.
That is an unsimplified fraction.
-2 over 1.
You could leave it as -2 over 1 or just -2.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay?
I did it by accident.
Rise over run.
You asked me for help with everything.
Rise over run. So that's a common mistake also, which is why you need to practice this stuff.
I just did x1 or x over y.
It's right. That's a very common mistake. That's upside down. Okay. It's always change in y over change in x. Rise over run. Yes, Nick. Yes. Okay. Now you could also use the slope formula for this one. I wouldn't do 0 minus 2. I would just do 4, 2 minus 0, and -4 minus 0. Kind of really silly to do it. Okay. Either way, you get the same answer. The slope of this line, -2.
I accidentally said 3 because I knew it was 2.
Okay? All right, this one, no graph, so you gotta use the slope formula.
Yeah.
I use the slope formula like this. 3 minus -5, so I call this y2, x2, y2, and this one x1, y1. And you label it.
That one backwards. I thought it was-
I do not remember much from math class.
Okay? So 3 minus -5 is +8. 8 minus 1 is 7. So they're both positive. So the slope is 8/7.
I did it
But it's
backwards.
negative.
It is not negative.
Why would it be negative?
If you did it the other way around,
I put it I got the same numbers, but I put it negative.
if you did -5 minus 3 over 1 minus 8, you would get -8 over -7, which is an unsimplified fraction because there's negatives on
Because
top
there's
and
two
the bottom.
negatives, so.
And so it's the same answer.
Yeah,
The most common mistakes in these problems,
Porter, that's.
having your X and Y's reversed, right? Or messing up one side of this and having your answer be negative instead of positive.
My numbers not flipped from top to bottom, but flipped from left to right.
Huh?
Yeah, one of
Porter,
these,
that's why
one
I
of
got
these
the
is
negative.
backwards, right?
Porter,
So the thing
my
is,
top and my bottom. was-
yeah, so the thing is, the first numbers here, the y2 and the x2, they have to come from the same point. They have to come from the same ordered pair. If you mess that up, you get a wrong answer. Okay?
I mean, that's karma for making fun of me for getting the wrong answer.
All right,
I still got the right answer.
there are two special lines to talk about, which we can finish up with here today.
Straight, which is straight.
The first one, they're all straight, right?
And, like,
Don't say straight, this is straight,
Yes, that is straight.
okay?
That is not straight.
So this line is horizontal, okay? Yeah, it's straight, but it's horizontal, okay? A horizontal line, how much is the y changing on this line?
0.
0, okay? The y doesn't change at all. This line has a slope of 0.
So as long as one of the units doesn't change, it's 0.
If it's a horizontal line, the y coordinates do not change. They're both the same. If I put this into the slope formula, 3 minus 3, y2 minus y1, I get 0 on the top.
Wouldn't this be the same for a vertical line?
Well, let's take a look, Alex, on the next slide. 3 minus 3 is 0.
But how would that convert into a decimal?
0.
0.
That's not a
Would it just
decimal.
be 0?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because 1 -7 would be 1 out of
Okay.
-7.
So this
0 out of -7.
This line, this horizontal line has a slope of 0.
forever, no matter what numbers.
Yep, no matter where it is.
So we could just hit 0 for that.
0 is the slope. 0.
But
Zero.
what if it's a
There's no
ring?
slope.
That's not a straight line then. Okay? This only applies for straight lines.
What if it's a straight line going around in a circle like this?
That's a circle,
That's not a
line.
straight line.
Okay, now what happens if the line is vertical? Okay, vertical lines, the x coordinates of these 2 points are the same. The x coordinates of these 2 lines are the same.
If it's 10 out of 0, that's still
happens
0.
Even if it's
Nah,
negative?
Stop,
It's always.
stop, stop. The x coordinates, the x coordinates are the same, which means when I subtract them, x2 minus x1 in the denominator here, I get 0. What's 10 divided by 0? You can't divide by 0. You put in your calculator, it explodes.
Oh, let me do it on my computer. So
Yeah, it'll give you division by 0 error or
It
something
says
like that.
undefined.
Undefined.
So that's the answer?
Undefined. These are breaking my.
The answer is undefined.
How is that not 10 though?
Isn't it anything divided by 0?
Isn't it just a
No.
vertical push?
0 divided by anything is 0.
I
But you
define that slope as a
can't
one.
divide by 0. You cannot divide something by, you can't
That's
split
zero.
something into pieces that are not
They're
don't
existent.
exist.
It's an imaginary number.
Okay.
Undefined.
It's not an imaginary number, it's actually infinity.
Yes.
Right?
It's infinity.
Okay.
And calculator hit
It's
I,
actually infinity,
and it's infinity.
but we can't talk about it right now, we don't have time. The point here is that a vertical line has an undefined slope. So there's a way to help remember this. Horizontal line, horizontal has an O in it, right? A horizontal line has a slope of 0.
Oh.
Okay, horizontal line has a slope of 0. Or you can also remember that a Z in 0 has horizontal lines.
That is cheese.
Okay?
That is very.
The slope of a vertical line is undefined. It starts with a U, which has vertical lines in it.
How
Okay.
come slope isn't just no slope at all? Both of them are no slope.
Did you just put a circle?
Realize that when you use the slope formula, even if you are not given the graph, right? If the y coordinates are the same, then it's going to be a horizontal line and a slope of 0.
Yes.
If the x coordinates are the same, it's going to be a vertical line, and the answer is undefined. Yes?
So, she was taking a picture of me to put on a door. Okay, this is the sword. Okay, so I was moving my head down because there's this mirror where you can see what the picture is.
Okay. All right. These two example problems from the book. What is the slope? What is the slope of the line? So I'm going to go really slow on this one again. Not really slow, relatively slow for an advanced class. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. The slope formula, Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So 7 minus 7 over, who cares? 5 minus -1. 0 over 6. No. 0 in the numerator
Means 0.
means 0.
That means
Don't
it's
say no slope. This slope is 0. What kind of line is this if I graph it?
Horizontal.
They're all straight lines.
Horizontal.
Horizontal. Is that what this says? No.
No.
It's a horizontal line. My work. Quiet. All right. This one. Now, how could you tell just looking at this that the slope was going to be 0?
The Y.
The y coordinates are the same. That means it's a horizontal line.
You don't even have to do the math.
You don't have to do anything. You can just write 0, y coordinates equal or something like that.
Same with the one on the next one. That one is just on the
This one, though, the x coordinates are equal. So when I do the formula for this one, 1 minus 4 over 2 minus 2, -5 over 0. You can't divide by 0. So this slope is undefined.
Undefined. Oh, yeah.
Okay? So that's the introduction to slope and the slope formula.
Yay.